Today, I'm going to be picking the best character from every single Star Wars movie, but the catch is that I cannot pick the same character twice, so it's going to have to be a different character for every movie. I got this video idea from Jedward, so shout out to him, but let's get started. First up, we got the Phantom Menace, and honestly, I think we can all agree that Qui-Gon was the GOAT of this movie. Yeah, we got Maul, who was a really cool looking villain, but that's pretty much all he was in this movie. Maul truly became GOATed in the Clone Wars, but I'm basing my picks only off of what they did in the movie, so for that reason I'm not picking Maul for the Phantom Menace. We also got Kenobi and Anakin in this movie, but the reason I decided to go with Qui-Gon was because he is such a unique and interesting character. The way he views and uses the Force is honestly the way all Jedi should use it, and I love the fact that he noticed the flaws of the Jedi and declined a seat on the Council. You also can't forget that he changed the fate of the entire galaxy by rigging a dice game, so for that reason alone, he's my pick for the Phantom Menace. Next up, we got Attack of the Clones, and honestly, now thinking about it, there are a lot of good characters in this movie. Obviously, we got Anakin, who was really going through it in this movie. I mean, he lost his mother, his lightsaber, and his hand, but he was able to bag Padme, so it pretty much cancels everything out if we're being honest. We also got Obi-Wan, Yoda, and Mace Windu, who all had pretty prominent roles in the movie, but the one person who stands out to me the most would have to be Count Dooku. Learning that Dooku used to be a member of the Jedi Order, and not only that, but the Padawan of Yoda himself, already made him a very interesting character from the start, but then getting to learn about his intentions and reasoning for leaving the Jedi Order and becoming a Sith just makes him so much better. His complexity, along with the fact that he was bodying everyone in the movie to the point where Yoda himself needed to pull up, is the reason I got Dooku as my favorite character in Attack of the Clones. Alright, next up we got Revenge of the Sith, and before I tell you who my pick for this movie is, I'ma just kindly ask you to hit the like button for me because it truly will help me out a ton. I'm not even asking you to subscribe, just please hit that like button for your boy. Anyways, next up is Revenge of the Sith, and let's be honest, if you're picking anyone besides Anakin or Obi-Wan, I'ma need you to immediately leave this video and go rewatch the movie. Now, between Anakin and Obi-Wan, I'ma have to go with Anakin, but I will say that I would go with Obi-Wan if I wasn't counting Anakin and Vader as two separate people for this video. If that makes you mad, go cry in the comments about it. I don't know what else to tell you. Anyways, Revenge of the Sith is what truly made Anakin's character goated, because low-key, he was just alright in the previous two movies. We got to see how conflicted Anakin was throughout every event that occurred in the movie, and his fall to the dark side was very emotional and heartbreaking to see. His reasoning for falling to the dark side was understandable, and seeing all the pain and suffering he went through due to the strict codes of the Jedi and the deception on Palpatine's end made him such a tragic but goated character. Anakin is most definitely my pick for Revenge of the Sith, so let's move on to Solo. I'ma keep this one short because I really don't remember much from the Solo movie, but low-key, I'ma have to go with Qi'ra. She's one of the few things I actually remember about the movie because she was a pretty complex character. The twist of her working with the villains was pretty cool, and finding out that she was going to be working directly with Maul actually made me want a series about whatever she was doing with Maul and his crime syndicate. Next, we got Rogue One, and let me just say, I love this movie so much, and the fact that it created tons of new characters that were all very well written is gonna make it pretty hard for me to choose, but the standout is definitely Jyn Erso, but the other characters like Saw Gerrera, Director Krennic, and Cassian Andor were all pretty good as well. I chose Jyn Erso as my pick for Rogue One because she perfectly embodies what it means to be hopeful, and this aligns perfectly with the entire motto of the movie, which was that rebellions are built off of hope, and the conclusion to her character was very tragic and emotional. Now, it's about time we get to the original trilogy, and you know we got A New Hope up first. By the way, if you're liking this video so far, hit the subscribe button for me because I'll be making many more videos like this one in the future. Anyways, all the characters in A New Hope are very likable, but I think the competition for the best character is between Han Solo and Obi-Wan Kenobi. Han Solo's arc from being very selfish and self-centered at the start of the movie to then becoming selfless and putting his life on the line to help the rebels was really compelling, but Obi-Wan Kenobi was absolutely the GOAT of A New Hope, and you gotta hear me out. Obi-Wan sacrificing himself in his fight against Vader to save Luke and his friends is genuinely one of the most iconic moments in Star Wars, and knowing all the history and story that Vader and Kenobi had together just makes the moment even more impactful. He was the perfect mentor to Luke, he's one of the faces of Star Wars, and I couldn't end this video without having Kenobi as one of my picks. Now, Now, it's about time we get serious because we got The Empire Strikes Back up next. Listen, this one's tough because both Luke and Vader were incredible in this movie, but you also got to remember that only one of them was able to pull his own sister, so for that reason alone, I'm gonna have to pick Luke. All jokes aside though, Luke is definitely the GOAT of The Empire Strikes Back. He was out there fighting in the front lines of the rebellion. He got the whole training arc with Yoda where he got to learn a lot more about the Force, and then his life was completely changed forever when he not only found out that Darth Vader is his father, but also that Obi-Wan and Yoda, his two mentors, never told him this information and sent him to kill his own dad. Now, Vader was also an incredible character in The Empire Strikes Back, but I thought he was an even better character in Return of the Jedi, and that's why I'm picking Vader as the GOAT of the final movie of the original trilogy. Listen, Luke was also amazing in Return of the Jedi, and I absolutely love the arc he went through, and the fact that he did everything he could to turn his father back to the light because he was the only person who saw the good in him. But Return of the Jedi is Vader's movie, and I even like to think that Return of the Jedi stands for Anakin finally coming back and being redeemed. Everything about Vader in this movie was genuinely just perfect, and seeing the conflict he had within him the entire movie until he finally snapped at the end to save his son was just beautiful. The story of Star Wars is Vader's story, and his conclusion in Return of the Jedi was one of the greatest conclusions to a character ever created. Low-key, I feel like we should just end the video here on a high note, but we gotta see this through to the end, so next up is the sequels. For The Force Awakens, I'm gonna have to go with Finn because he was actually set up to be a really good and interesting character. A stormtrooper turned Jedi could have been amazing, and I feel like The Force Awakens set this up pretty nicely, but unfortunately he was fumbled badly in the rest of the trilogy. Next up, for The Last Jedi, I'm gonna have to go with Kylo Ren, and I will say, even though I hated the sequels, I actually loved Kylo Ren's character, and he was at his best in The Last Jedi. The entire conflict he had with Luke Skywalker was really compelling, and the battle of the light side and the dark side that he was having within himself was pretty well written. Finally, we got the rise of Palpatine, and I genuinely mean this from the bottom of my heart. There is not a single thing I liked about this movie, but I gotta pick a character, and it can't be Kylo Ren, so I'ma just have to go with Poe.
Somehow Palpatine returned.
I think my picks were pretty good, but obviously everyone's gonna have different opinions, so drop your picks in the comments below and I'll for sure check them out and respond to you guys. I'm definitely gonna make more videos like this in the future, so make sure you subscribe so you don't miss my next upload.